Hello and welcome to the Horror Channel, the new place for horror fans. I'm your host, Greg, and I have some breaking news for you pertaining to the world of cult horror movies and Blumhouse Productions. That's right, Jason's Blum's Blumhouse Productions. It looks like they may have acquired some of the rights to some very popular cult horror movies, and I'm going to bring up the proof for you guys. It comes to us from the U.S. Copyright Place. This news was sent to me from Theo Lemaster, so shout out to him. And it looks like let's go. One of these were the rights were acquired earlier in the year, and one of them was acquired this month. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this up from the U.S. Copyright Public Record System. I'm going to scroll down here. First one here, right here, number 3, Chopping Malls. Jim Wynorski's Chopping Mall. It looks like Blumhouse has acquired the rights to Chopping Mall as of this month on March 11th, 2026. And also what I find fascinating here too is it also says Shout Factory LLC has this. And as far as I remember, I think Vestron Lionsgate was the only one to have released this. I don't, if I'm wrong on that, please let me know in the comment section down below. But I believe Chopping Mall has only been released by Vestron Lionsgate. I don't believe it's been released by Shout Factory. So that's kind of interesting in and of itself that that it's also on, it looks like maybe on September 10th, 2025, maybe Shout Factory was that. But it looks like, yes, named Shout Factory and Blumhouse Productions LLC now have the rights to Chopping Mall. As of this month, they have the rights to Chopping Mall, which is very, very interesting. And I'll give you some of my thoughts on that as well, too. So let's also go back and see the other one, which they acquired earlier in the year, which is one of my favorites, to be honest with you. And I actually have friends with inside this, the company that makes it. And we'll scroll down here. Number 10, Puppet Master from 1989 from the Charles Band Full Moon Empire. I actually have friends within Full Moon features. I'm kind of interested about this, but this was looks like it was copyrighted on from Blumhouse Productions on January 21st, 2026 of this year, which is kind of weird that one didn't make news. I'm kind of interested about this. I know Charles Band plays these Puppet Master movies really close to the vest. He doesn't really like to give these out. He did it once before, and they did make a sort of remake before. I believe that was once again also through Lionsgate. I believe so, if I remember correctly. But you guys can correct me on that if I'm wrong. I know he wasn't too thrilled with that when he made that deal or whatnot. So I don't know about this, but it is kind of interesting that this one was in, and it looks like a list of works. There's all the Puppet Masters right there, but it does say names Full Moon Empire and Blumhouse Productions now own the copyright rights to these. And what does that mean if now Blumhouse owns the copyright rights, these rights to these films, to Chopping Mall and Puppet Master? So I'm going to go ahead and take that off there right there, guys, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on this. Okay, so look, I'm not the hugest fan of Blumhouse. I do like some of their movies. I haven't liked a whole lot of theirs. I think a lot of times when they get to the remake sections of their movies, specifically like with the Halloweens and even the new Exorcist, they're not great. They're so much better when they do their original things. Like I think like with the Black Phone or Happy Death Day, or even with the FNAF, Five Nights at Freddy's, which is based off a game, but it's the new movies. I think they're very good. Blumhouse is very good at that. But I also think Blumhouse, whether you like him or not, Jason Blum and Blumhouse, whether you like him or not, are genius producers. He's a genius producer. He knows how to make these low budget movies and make money back on it in the end. And he does such a great job on that. I don't like his. Once again, I'm a huge Universal Monster fan, and I didn't like his Wolfman or his Invisible Man. I kind of think when they get in that level of horror, they don't quite get that. Now, on one hand, with the Chopping Mall, if they end up remaking Chopping Mall, now that they do own the rights to Chopping Mall, as we just saw there, per U.S. copyright records, legit. If they do remake Chopping Mall, I could kind of maybe get behind that one. All right, Chopping Mall is a very cult film, right? It's got a following. I don't think it would have such a blowback on it as maybe like Halloween or The Exorcist or something. I think it could be kind of interesting. I think you'd have to keep it rated R. Personally, I think you'd have to keep it rated R. I don't think you should sanitize it too much. Not that it's not. I mean, you can sort of have fun with Chopping Mall. It's killer robots in a mall and kids trapped in a mall. I think you got to have a little bit of fun with that. And I think maybe with the robotics today and stuff, maybe you can make something. Maybe you can make something of it. Not that I want to see a remake of Chopping Mall, but I think maybe if they decided to do that, that one couldn't be all bad. But I can't say I have high hopes for that, right? I can't say I have high hopes for it, but I'm not completely against a remake of Chopping Mall because I don't think it, for better or worse, I don't think it has that horror cred as some other movies do. But in the end, I'm still for original movies. I'm still all for original movies. But in the end, I think, I mean, maybe bring on Jim Wynorski and Barbara Crampton or something into it with the production. That would be great. I think you pay respect to horror fans. If you do that, I think you could have a bit of a winner with Chopping Mall. But also, don't sugarcoat it and wokify it and all that. Whatever, PC it, whatever the kids are using today. Don't do that with Chopping Mall or anything like that. Now, as far as I feel about the Puppet Master, that's one I'm extremely nervous about if they end up remaking the Puppet Master, I should say, not the Puppet Master from Full Moon. And it's kind of interesting that Charles Band has let Blumhouse buy the rights. That's very intriguing, actually. I don't know if I'd want to see another remake of this. I I love Full Moon Pictures. There's a certain charm and a feel to a Full Moon movie, especially when you see them, whether they're huge or not. And I do think the Puppet Master movies have a bit of a legacy, and I would hate to see that legacy tarnished, much like they did. I'm sorry, guys. I just did not like their Halloween trilogy. I'm sorry. I thought Halloween 2018 was pretty good. Halloween Kills was just a dumb fun slasher, but Halloween Ends ruined it completely for me. And honestly, I think H2O was the better of it. But not saying that, like, once again, I like Blumhouse in certain original aspects. I mean, The Black Phone and The Black Phone 2 is two of my favorite movies that ever come from there. Now, what they could do with the Puppet Masters, that worries me. That worries me. If they bring in Charles Band and let him work a little bit with all that, see, that's why I think that's what I get at. All right. Yes, I would love more original movies and everything like that. But if you're going to do these movies and own these, you got to bring in some of the people that help make these movies special and that garnered that cult following. You got to let Charles Band have a say so on this. You got to not sanitize these. You got to not just try to make cheap knockoffs, because sometimes they can feel like cheap knockoff remakes and they don't feel right. And in some cases, we really don't need remakes of these. So I would be very interested, maybe in a Chopping Mall remake, maybe. Puppet Master, I am very, very leery. I'm wondering what they would do, and I would hope that they would stick to practical effects for both of these, for the robots and the puppets. You got to have the practical puppet effects. I don't know, man. I just don't know how I would actually feel about a Puppet Master remake. Maybe a little bit more on board with Chopping Mall one, but once again, I don't need remakes of either one of these movies. I'm very curious as horror fans. Like I said, this is a new place for horror. This is my new horror channel. I'm very curious for horror fans. What are your guys' thoughts on Blumhouse now owning the rights to Chopping Mall and Puppet Master? And would you want to see remakes of either one of these from Blumhouse? Part of me is like, no, please, God, no. You know, other part of me is like, maybe Chopping Mall. But I don't know. I want to know your guys' thoughts, opinions as true horror fans, because this new horror channel I'm putting together right here is going to be for horror fans, by horror fans, because I see so much horror out there and horror bigger outlets and stuff. And sometimes fans are forgotten in these conversations. And I want to know what your guys' thoughts. So leave those comments in this comment section down below. Let's have a conversation on this. And if you liked what you saw here, maybe consider hitting that like button, subscribing, hitting the bell for notification, and sharing this video out for everybody to see. As always, maniacs, stay horrified, support physical media, and support the horror you love. Godspeed.